a man who's been following the student suicide case inside and out. And he's going to be joining me here in just a little bit because you have a lot of questions. You've told me you have a lot of questions. You've sent them through email. You've sent them through tweets. Who's responsible if I have kids, 4 of them, as I've told you, and I think about this all the time. When they go to school, they're perhaps more vulnerable. What do I need to do to prepare them? What is my school doing to protect them against bullies or others who could hurt them? This is your chance to have your answers, have your questions answered. We'll be right back. What a story. Kenneth Trump is joining us now to talk more about this story that so many of you have been talking about. He runs school safety and security services. Mr. Trump, thanks for being with us, sir.
Good to be with you, Rick.
Let me turn this over to the folks who've been so interested in this story, some of the people who tweet this show. We've been collecting all of their comments. Go to the third one here. Let's start with that. This fellow writes or tweets, defenders of bullies say that kids need to suck it up and develop thick skin. But the point is, they shouldn't have to. What do you make of that? Because there's an argument that says, you know what, people are going to be bullies. Kids are going to have to put up with people who aren't so nice. That's just the way life is. How do you respond to folks who say that?
Well, there's a big difference, Rick, between sucking it up and taking it and knowing how to respond to it. I think what we have to do is talk with our children. I'm a father like you. Talk to our children and talk to them young about, well, how do you respond when you're treated that way so that they know what's appropriate. Also knowing and reassuring that they have somebody to come and talk to, not only at school but at home, so when they come home and talk to mom and dad, they can do that. They're not going to be blamed. They're not going to be looked down upon, that they have that level of support so that they don't feel that they have to turn to self-harm or other type of situations. I think we need to have the conversations. We need to support the kids. We need to tell them ahead of time how to respond so they know how to manage it.
Can you be held responsible for someone choosing to kill themselves?
Well, I think that what happens is we have to look at the climate in our schools. School administrators are evaluated today based on whether or not they're getting their test scores up, not the whole climate, not the security, the preparedness around there. And we have to make sure that we're not handcuffing administrators to deal with that. Our focus on training teachers is very limited today. The resource, it's all on test scores, and we're not looking at the whole child. So I think the schools have a level of responsibility to deal with climate, to deal with security, to deal with training your staff on how to deal with this, and if you're not, you're missing a key opportunity.
Who's most responsible, the parent or the teacher, for recognizing that a student may be really messed up and might be on the fringe of doing something crazy?
The answer is both. I think parents have to do their duty. We can't just give all the responsibilities to the school, but at the same time, we can't just allow school officials to have knowledge, to know that there's an issue, and to ignore that and not take some type of action. I, as a dad, have to know my kid. That's my #1 priority, but I also want my school officials to be able to pick out when something's wrong, there's a change of behavior, and most of all, when they're told about something, to know what to do.
Do you feel in this case that the teacher should have responded, that there was enough information out there for them to act?
By all accounts that I've read and heard, I don't have firsthand knowledge, but it seems like there are a lot of legitimate questions that parents need to be asking. And parents need to be educated advocates for their kids. Know the school district's policies and procedures. We don't need new state laws and anti-bullying. We need to look at the policies we have. Harassment, intimidation, assault, extortion, sexual harassment. Are they enforcing those? Do they have school climate procedures? What are the security procedures?
That's
what are the reporting?
We don't need new laws. We've got plenty of laws on the books. We've just got to be looking to possibly prosecute them. But in this case, we're looking at a situation where these kids are basically being told, these suspects, that they forced this girl to kill herself. Now, let me ask you the question, taking the school aside, can a person, whether they're an adult or a minor, be charged, or should they be charged with forcing someone to do something? Or ultimately, is the person who did it responsible?
Well, I think ultimately there are many kids who have been victims who haven't, and we need to say, why did they not do this and what support? Legally, I'm not an attorney, but I think that it's going to be an interesting case, but I think we have to say, what actions did they do? From a legal perspective, I don't know the answer to that, but I think that there's certainly contributing factors to it, created the climate, and we also have to look at the mental health issues of the kids who are committing suicide, because typically there's a lot of other things behind that, beyond just these incidents, that we have to wonder if there was other things that we could have done to build their foundation and self-respect as well. So I'm not sure that it's an either-or question, Rick. Legally, I don't know, but I think there's some responsibility on both ends.
I think I know where you're getting at with that. Now, let me ask you something as a parent, for myself. I got 4 kids, and I talk to them a lot. And whenever I see that maybe they're looking a little forlorn, I'll just pull them aside and I'll say, hey, what's going on? What's going on? You look a little sad-eyed. And they'll come back sometimes with nothing. I'm fine. Yeah, but you don't look the same today as you did yesterday, and I just want you to know I'm here and I worry about you. So, Dad, I'm fine. They walk away. What do I do?
Well, I tell you, Rick, what I do. I ask 2 questions for my kids in school, and I encourage all parents to do that. At the end of the day, a little bit of debriefing, a little cuddle time maybe perhaps on the couch. What did you like in school today? What went well? And what didn't go well? Open-ended questions. Not did you do something in school or what did you do, but let them answer that, and they'll tell you a lot of things, sometimes things you didn't expect.
That's good advice, because basically what you're saying is if you ask more, it's kind of like what I do for a living. I try to ask pointed questions and not general questions, and a lot of times it's the same kind of thing that I should do with my kids.
Yeah, they'll tell you some things sometimes that you never expected, and in cases of bullying, I've had that come up. I didn't expect to get certain answers, but that's what the kid goes to. It shows what's important to them, and you're giving them the avenue, you're opening the door.
You've been a help to me, and I'm sure to many other parents. Mr. Trump, I appreciate you being on. I appreciate your time.
Anytime, Rick. Good talking with you.